Welcome back to Here for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 578, we're going to talk about Ukkima, the Stalking Shadow, and his partner, Cazur. So let's read Ukkima first. 3 mana, 2/2 Whale Wolf. Can't say that I've ever seen that before. Of course, it partners, can't be blocked. When Ukkima leaves the battlefield, it deals X damage to target player, and you gain X life, where X is its power. And then, the partner in crime here is Cazur, Ruthless Stalker. 4 mana, 3/3, of course, the partner, and a partner with, rather. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on that creature. Now, I'll be honest with you, that is what caught my attention. Ukkima does grant us the 2 more colors. So we're in blue and black and green. So the +1 counter thing is that's where my mind went to first off. So naturally, we're playing the Ozolith because if it's a +1 counter deck or any kind of counter deck, this is kind of what we want to be doing. So, and why is it fuzzy like right in the middle of the text? Bam, puppy. So let's look at our ramp first, shall we? I mean, we have, Untamed Wilds, Rampant Growth, Llanowar Elves, Coiling Oracle, the Farhaven Elf, trying to get those different, different colors out there. Harrow, solving our color problem. Urborg Elf just kind of fits in here nicely because, it naturally taps for the 3 colors of the deck. Elvish Mystic, Queering Elves, you choose the one you need the most at the time. Elves of Deep Shadow, Blight Soil Druid, and Queering Trailblazer is, it's somewhat overcosted by 1 mana, to do what it does, but it does also do the thing. Now, that's where I realized I was like, that's a whole bunch of elves. That's a bunch of elves. And that made me think about the Immaculate Magistrate. And I was like, well, the Immaculate Magistrate, deals in mass amounts of counters. So I was like, that's kind of what we want to be doing. Now, putting a ton of these on Ukkima, I can't pronounce that word, and then it died. That's a bunch, and I love the fact that with Immaculate Magistrate, one thing that a play that you don't see made a lot is you don't have to control the creature that you're targeting. So here again, you can make an opponent's creature bigger if there is a game scenario where that's beneficial to you. You might want to do that. So then I was like, well, Priest of Titania is pretty good with a lot of elves. So is the Elvish Archdruid. Gnarlroot Trapper, can only elf creature spells. So that's kind of where I went, as I was like, I'm in elves? How did I end up here? So I was like, well, the Hunt Master, elves are buy one, get one free. Kindred Discovery, play an elf because we're going to choose elf, and draw a card. Why not? Elves have got to have the overrun in there, There's a Sign in Blood. Probably a little light on my card draw, I'll be honest with you. We do have stuff like Collar of the Claw. It's going to make elf that makes bear tokens. Okay, sure, why not? But then we get to run cool stuff like Feast on the Fallen. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This kind of goes with the theme, Now, blue gives us a lot. I'm not going to lie. But the problem, I've been playing elf decks ever since we could play elf decks. The problem a lot is, you just get destroyed by flying decks, flying creatures. Not so much a problem with levitation out. Let's see. We have Biomantic Mastery. There's a good chance we're going to have a ton of creatures. and and then somebody else will too. So that's a bunch of cards. Let's look at the rest of our elves, shall we? We have stuff like, of course, the Imperious Perfect, Dreadbridge Shaman, Winter War Patrol with a kinship ability. Shaman of the Pack does some work. We were in a game last night. Jimmy cast one of these, and it was, he didn't have a whole lot of elves out, but I still think he did 7 or 8 damage with it. Just coming into play. Titania's Chosen, yet not what it used to be. It used to be this card was just busted. But now, not so much, it's just green. Thorn-Wheeled Archer, still an amazing card. Thorn Bow Archer. Greenwell Liberator. Elvish Visionary is a little bit of card draw. Woodland Champion. Gerard. Got a black-green elf here that, because, elves are going to die. They just are. That's just how it's going to work. This kind of reminds me, I probably should have put a Skull Clamp in the deck. Sylvan Messenger, Elf Tutor, Hunter of Oblights, Oblight Assassin, Lislana Scarblade, Momir Vig. Momir Vig's an elf. A lot of that gets missed a lot. So we can reliably cast a green creature spell. That's but blue, we got a few blue ones, We have Gaia Skyfolk, which, I'll be honest with you, flying, only reason why it's in there. Besides, it's really old. I would really, really love new art for it, by the way. Taunting Elf. Taunting Elf's a win condition, just for lack of a better word. This is a win condition. You're going to force somebody to block it, and everything else you've got's getting through. Scarred Vine Breeder. We're discarding elves. Elves are dying, and, hey. Let's look at Primal Empathy. Beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. If you control a creature with the greatest power, good chance we might after we get those +1 counters rolling. Alpha Status. It's another one that I don't see as much as I thought I would. +2/+2 for each other creature in play that shares a type. That's a beating of an aura right there. Now, I do have one non-elf in the deck. I have more than one, but the Overbeing of Myth. Yes, for 5 mana, it's a Personal Howling Mine, and it's kind of a large creature, so that's pretty much it. That's the... Now, let's look at our removal, shall we? Hunt the Weak. This is kind of what we want to be doing. It deals with counters. It eliminates creatures. Oblight Massacre. It's not going to hurt us. Casualties of War. Dark Banishing. Oblight's Ending. Yeah, I could have used, other stuff. But, it's totally flavor here, right? Putrefy. Back to Nature. Telling you, here again, last night I had Back to Nature. It being instant speed. This is an amazing card. Kills a lot of stuff, especially choke. Return to Nature. Viridian Zealot, it's an elf. I've got it in the removal because, it's what it does. Force Spike. I really like Force Spike. People tap out way more than they should. Everybody loves playing Mana Tithe, but not so much Force Spike. It's the same card, just in a different color. I realize Mana Tithe you don't see coming as much since it is a white spell, but it is a color-shifted Force Spike. So a lot of times, people don't think you have it. Negate, Walk the Plank, Elvish Lyrist is a really good one. And our last non-land card. If you notice, there's no artifacts in this deck. Energy Flux is a card criminally underplayed. This is 4th edition. I know it was in Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised, 4th, probably in 5th as well. All upkeep, or all artifacts have an upkeep cost of 2. Whoa. So, Obviously, this is not hurting us. We're not playing artifacts, and with it wasn't really that big of a hurdle because you know we've got all of our land searches and elf mana produces, so that's our ramp. Granted, it's not as dependable as getting, your turn one soul ring or what have you, but I thought, energy flux, you don't get to run it that many times in an elf deck, and elves don't like artifice anyway, right? It's just a green thing. So let's look into our non-basic lands. There's a bunch of them. We have an exotic orchard, a command tower, city of brass, Darkwater Catacombs, Thornwood Falls, Simic Growth Chamber, Simic Guildgate. Got that shiny Guildgate there. I believe Mr. Mason gave that to us. Woodland Stream, Jungle Hollow, Golgari Rot Farm, Foul Orchard, Dismal Backwater, Dimir Aqueduct, Dimir Guildgate, Evolving Wilds, greatest card ever. I'm being facetious, by the way. Reliquary Tower, because if we're going to be drawing on, all those Biomatic Mastery cards. Bojuka Bog. If you notice, I'm running Bojuka Bog in all 3 possible bounce lands, because this way you get multiple uses out of the Bojuka Bog. You can play it, nuke somebody's graveyard, and then use the Ravnica bounce lands to bounce it back to your hand. Yeah, you come out a little negative on mana because both of those lands interplay tapped, but it is decent graveyard control when you need it. Terramorphic Expanse, Gateway Plaza, and Transguild Promenade. And that is the deck. Cazur and Ukkima. By the way, big shout out to the newest patron, Mr. James Langley. Thank you so much, James. You'll probably be getting the Discord invite before you actually see this. So, welcome to the team, James. Thank you very much. But let's put this Joker back up. It's with 2 commanders like that. Ooh, that glares for real. It does actually. I mean, it gives us 98 cards to play with instead of 99, which it's totally fine. Let's get that down to where that light don't. There we go. Oh, been sweating. Well, that is for 578. We'll put it. I gotta fix my. I wanted to play Kennen last night, so I played Kennen, and I got like all the cool things. I had Kennen in play, and the Nyxborn Ancient. It was beautiful, beautiful. I was producing much more mana than I should be able to. Of course, it didn't last long. I had the Simic, Simic Ascendancy, where you put 20 counters on and you win. And at the end of Jimmy's turn, I had 5 counters on it, and I just said, okay, activated 15 times. And he says, okay, in response to the last one, back to nature. Not a lot you can do, I mean, it was a great play. It's a great play. But that is what I have got for today. I appreciate y'all watching. We're going to try to keep... I'm going to try to keep up with this deck a day thing. I've got to. I have to. There's so much in the core set this year. I'm kind of lumping Jumpstart in with that. There's a bunch. And I think I'm already to the point. There's 18, 20 decks there. If I do a deck a day, I think M21 is out before I can get done with Ikoria and Commander. I realize some of this is probably virus problems because stuff got pushed back a month. We should have probably, I say should have. In a normal circumstance, we would have had Ikoria and C20 in our hands a month sooner than we did. So that will, and then we've got Core 21 and Jumpstart, stacked right on top of each other. So that's the thing. Gives me more to do, though. More decks to build. there's a lot of new stuff from those two sets that are exciting. I think so. So I can't wait to build them. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all let me know what you think. And right now, we're gonna shuffle and cut.